Alrighty, so we have here a Greymane replay. Let's see. Let's take a look at the draft. So we have Towers of Doom. Your team is ETC, Leo, Phoenix, Rhaegar, and Greymane. And their team is Anub'arak, Stukov, Alarak, Dahaka, Azmodan. Okay. All right. So first and foremost, tell me a little bit about why did you pick Greymane here, and what do you think your role is here as the Greymane?
I picked Greymane here because right now he's just an all-around solid hero. They don't have any blinds. We wanted ranged auto attack for the Anub.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think I picked before Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Typically, I wouldn't pick Greymane if we had a Phoenix already.
Gotcha. Yeah, they are sort of in the same damage type for the most part. Phoenix does have some spell damage, but generally speaking, both are auto attack based. But you're going up against an Anub'arak, and yeah, as you said, there's no blinds, so there's no punish for that. So that shouldn't be a problem. What it does mean is that there's a good chance that your kills against the enemy team are going to be mostly frontline first, unless somebody's drastically out of position. So it's going to be probably Anub'arak or Alarak that gets picked off first. Displacement abilities on your team, like because Azmodan is typically sitting pretty far back in team fights, so sometimes it would be nice to have some displacement to deal with him. I could see stage dive being potentially a possible choice here for the rest of your team, just so you can have some way of reaching the back line and
Right.
dealing with that. How do you deal with Cocoon right now?
Um,
Not a whole lot of ways.
yeah, I think it's me hoping I don't get cocooned, and
Okay.
then using my W to get somebody out.
Okay. And so that you said this is happening at Platinum 2, correct? Solo queue?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Correct.
Okay, so as far as the overall draft goes, they do have the global advantage with Dahaka. Leo has a decent, just fine matchup into Dahaka. It's just that, um, let's say you have a triple spawn and you have this one, and the bottom spawn at the same time. Leo can cap this one, Dahaka can cap this one, but Dahaka can respond to the bottom much faster than Leo can due to the global, so they have a bit of an advantage on that front, um, as well as invade potential. So if I were, so I think in this case it could be either Phoenix or Greymane that does this, but I'd like to see you guys actually try and get this camp every once in a while, maybe a couple times during this game. The reason for that being that if you constantly try and do your camp or their camp invading, they have that global advantage. So you have to have Leo able to respond at the very least in the middle lane to rotate. But
Sure.
the global can't do anything about people coming up here. The bottom lane is the most important lane, certainly, but this camp definitely does help create additional pressure. If you can get this top cap, it draws resources from them typically, and that'll be a way that you can secure bottom camps and then eventually get the bottom lane. So yeah, Greymane has a lot of PvE damage. He's really strong at pushing down structures and doing camps really fast. So that's why I would kind of like to see you be the one to sort of do this camp up here with Leoric every once in a while. But if you're not doing that, it just means that you have to be very safe when you're taking this. Otherwise, they can go for a 4v5 invade.
Sure.
All right. So as far as the laning matchups go, I mean, Leo can double soak pretty effectively. The mid and top. Hang on, let me turn the volume down. Mid and top. Yeah, so the ETC is thinking about going stage dive. I think that's a good decision. That would neutralize the global issue that you have with the Dahaka. And I think that Mosh Pit is also just very interruptible against this team. You have two ways of stopping it with Alarak. You have drag, you have isolation actually as well. You have three ways on Anub'arak. You could cocoon it,
Yeah.
stun it, burrow it, and then we also have the I guess two different ways between the silence and either one of his ultimates. So definitely agree with the stage dive choice. I think once the team fight starts, if it doesn't end immediately, you guys win. That's sort of how I see it right now, because they have very weak brawling team fight heroes like Anubrak and Alarak are very weak at brawling. Same with Asmodan. They're very reliant on, doing their burst damage up front and then hoping something dies, or backing off and waiting for their cooldowns to be back up. So I think that Greymane and Phoenix are very powerful at sustained damage, even Leo as well. And so if you guys can not die immediately to their attack from Alarak and maybe Anubrak, then I think this goes quite well for you guys. Let's jump up a little bit. Alright, so you have your Inner Beast immediately active. That's fine. A little bit of threat. I think you could probably use your Flask here to get off of the Haka. You could, right when he was over here, I think you can go for that. He doesn't have drag available, so there's no real immediate threat. I would be stepping up to here, try and get pressure the Anubrak and clear the wave. I guess you can rotate too. Okay, that's fine. They look like they're fighting. If you clear this right now, you want to kill this first, always. Because if you kill this one first, you deny them experience. This minion kills one of your minions like I forget how frequent, but every so often it'll kill one of your minions and it'll grant full XP. And then if it also last hits a minion, it'll grant experience as well. So you want to get that first. There you go. Okay, you break it and then immediately hard engage. Good. Get a couple autos. Dodge the thing. Perfect. You're going to just trade him out. I like it. I respect it. You're probably going to end up dying. Good dodge. Nice. Good stuff. I like it.
I think I was caffeinated there.
Definitely. I like it. I would back here, but you need to get somebody else to come and catch the soak. Tapping here is not ideal. It's only going to bring you up to about 60%, 60-70% with a globe, maybe higher. But yeah, this is not ideal because then you're not going to have your tap available for the first objective, probably. So this is, yeah, you don't want ETC to be the one who's trying to take this camp for sure. It'd be much better if ETC were to be the one who's coming down to catch the soak. Right. If you had backed and then immediately ran to this camp, done it with Rhaegar, that's the ideal.
Can we talk about my level 1 talent?
Absolutely, certainly.
I always take that talent because I feel like I get more W uptime unless I'm against Joe or Lily.
Yeah, understandable. I think it's very much so preference between these two talents. It's based on playstyle and preference. Personally, yeah. I'm more a fan of the viciousness talent just because of the fact that, yeah, as you said, against any sort of blinds or crowd control, you can still use basic abilities, but it's also that extra 1 second allows you to play safer and not make mistakes just by trying to keep your W up. A lot of Greymane players will put themselves out of position simply to keep up their W stack, and I think that, if you're playing, I have no issue with taking this talent for sure, especially if you're playing the playstyle correctly and not putting yourself in danger to make sure you're getting a couple extra hits off. I do think that the cocktail build is still not quite where it needs to be as strong as the auto attack builds. Although obviously situationally, if they have a lot of blinds and you need poke damage, then could be a situation. We can talk about the build in general if you want. Do you know what build you went this game, or do you want to talk about it later on?
Yeah, I think I went Eyes in the Dark at 4.
Okay.
I wasn't really afraid. They didn't have too many. I think their strongest auto attacker would have been Stukov. But
well, yeah, right. Stukov has the strongest auto attack in the game, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So Stukov and Alarak, but I wasn't really afraid of that. I thought they got a lot of point and click damage. So
Dahaka, if he goes for the level 13 Primal Rage talent, also has a very strong auto attack as well.
Sure.
Alarak is deceptive. His auto attacks are very high, actually. Most Alaraks don't use their auto attacks all that often, but the ones that they do use, he has very high auto attack. A new Brack, not really. Asmodan has an auto attack upgrade that he can take if he went for Wrath. I don't know if he did. Probably didn't. So I think you could have gone for thick skin against this because of the Stukov, Alarak, and Dahaka, but I think Eyes in the Dark is okay too. I'm fine with this. Yeah. I think the only reason not to take Eyes in the Dark is, generally speaking, if you're up against like poison damage. If you have poison damage on you, it's going to break almost immediately.
Sure.
Insatiable is basically if you really don't need either of them. That's sort of the way I think of it. So I think that thick skin can usually get the most value overall if there's any heroes to use it on. Eyes in the Dark if no poison, and Insatiable if neither of these two are applicable.
7, I went with Quicksilver.
All right, yeah.
Because, yeah, I don't know when you take Wizened Duelist, but I feel like I die.
So. Yeah, so it's what it comes down to is threat. Their composition has Alarak, which means that even if you're in, max auto attack range, you can still be very out of position because he can pull you out of position. So because of that, I definitely agree with the Quicksilver bullets. It allows you to be even further away while still dishing out damage. It's just the general correct choice for Greymane because the more safe damage you can do from human form, the more likely it is that you can get something low enough that you can jump into worgen form and finish him off while still being healthy. So I think that's a good choice. Generally speaking, Wizened Duelist is the choice if you have a double healer, right? So, or if you feel very safe against their composition, if they have a non-threatening composition to you as a Greymane. So a new Brack actually is one of those heroes that isn't super threatening to Greymane in particular, because of the fact that you can threaten him so much with your auto attacks. I think Wizened Duelist specifically against a new Brack is fine. It's only because they have the Alarak here that I would suggest not taking Wizened. Does that make sense? And then against like heroes like Arthas, for example, same thing. You'd want to have Quicksilver bullets because you don't want to be close to an Arthas, because if he lands a Howling Blast on you, you want to still be able to get away from him from his slows.
Sure.
Level 10, there's Go for the Throat and Cursed Bullet.
Yeah, I went Cursed. I thought it was a toss-up, but they've got Osmo. That's a big fat target with HP, so I thought that was the tiebreaker.
So they did buff the Cursed Bullet to be a 40% chunk, and that's pretty nice. As far as this composition goes, I would still go for the Throat personally. The thinking of it being that, yes, they have a tank, and then a very beefy target. The problem is that Cursed Bullet doesn't provide you with any form of mobility. Go for the Throat does. And against this particular draft, so for example, if you Cursed Bullet in a new Brack, if I'm in a new Brack and I get Cursed Bulleted, it's annoying that you lose 40% of your health, but most of your survivability comes from your shields. So it's not going to be fatal. It's not going to be a problem for a new Brack to lose 40%. Same thing goes for Dahaka. Dahaka's health bar is very flexible, right? If you lose 40% of your health, maybe he presses his essence and he's fine. But he still also has his burrow. And so it's just not a big deal if he loses that first 40% of his health bar. As far as a target in the backline who's got a lot of health bar, the problem isn't doing that health bar, which is where Cursed Bullet comes in, right? The problem is reaching him or him being out of position. And that's what I was kind of getting at with regard to the mobility. If you can land your Cursed Bullet on this guy, then that's great. But it's the last 60% of his health bar that really matters, if that makes sense. Sure. And I think that Go for the Throat would have been nicer, specifically against the Alarak, the Stukov, and as well as the what's it called? I think that as I said earlier, though, you do have the Phoenix and the Greymane as your damage type, so you're going to be killing the front line. So honestly, it's not terrible. I'm not totally opposed to the Cursed Bullet pick. Personally, I still prefer the Go for the Throat. But it's fine.
I don't even know if I use it.
Well, that's another thing. It's a very short cooldown.
So,
yeah.
No, that's the thing. I use it. I mean, I know like you're supposed to use it, ideally on tanks as like an opener.
Mm-hmm.
But if I see a chance to get a full HP squishy with it,
Oh, absolutely.
or just to mount up quicker,
Yeah, certainly.
or not to mount up, but to
Or
get
to
the
switch to
range
human
form.
form. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
We'll definitely take a look at the usage of it and make sure that that's being done correctly. 13,
Move speed.
you go for the on the prowl.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So I think that with the most recent patch, this talent is very, very, very strong.
Yeah.
The reason being that, base movement speed was buffed 10%, and that includes mounted speed. So everything that's percentage based increases is now amplified by that 10%. So this,
Right.
what used to be 130% movement speed currently is actually 143% if you do the math that way, right? So
Sure.
you're moving in combat at mount speed, and that's outrageous. So this talent is, I think, pretty much exclusively the go-to for 13 now.
Yep.
Unfettered Assault can be useful against heroes with like a vault or some sort of mobility. You can sometimes close the gap, but I still think the movement speed is generally better there. And Running Wild, if you're a full dive composition where you're trying to blow up somebody in the very back line and you want to make sure you can reach them, this can be a useful talent. But as I said, 99% of the time on the prowl. 16.
Executioner.
Okay.
We got the slows with Leo. We got the stuns with ETC and the slows with Raevar.
So I think that this game, the Executioner is definitely good here. I think you could have also gotten away with Alpha Killer. I think that,
Really?
yeah, so essentially once Alarak's combo is down, you should be getting into worgen form almost as quickly as possible. The main threats to you after that are Dahaka's drag. That's basically it, honestly. Like, Anubrak stuns are pretty hard to land on a Greymane and worgen form because you're moving around quickly. I would say that Alpha Killer could have been quite nice. As you pointed out, they have quite a few heroes with high health bars, so that could have been a nice form of getting that percentage-based damage in. Once again, Executioner is just fine here as well. I think you have plenty of things that can enable it, so that's really good. Eager Wolf is the talent to take only when you're trying to get maximum PvE damage. So when you're using Greymane for racing on an immortal, or if you're trying to trade structures, so if you're pushing very macro game, then Eager Wolf can be quite strong. Or if you're trying to finish the core at level 16 or something and you want that extra bonus damage, these two don't give you any bonus damage for PvE. So, and then on 20, what do you go for here?
Basic attack splash.
Okay, yeah. So Hunter's Blunderbuss is probably the general go-to no matter what. It's really powerful. It allows you to deal massive amounts of damage from very safe places, and it prevents the enemy team from ever like clumping up behind something. So really, really powerful. I would never take the upgrade to Cursed Bullet. It just is not good. And then
I never take that. I'll take
Unleashed every once in a while can be good, but it's very situational. Tooth and Claw, I don't think it's as good as Hunter's Blunderbuss outright. If you can live the entire game in worgen form, by all means, go for it. But most of the time, that's not going to be the case with Greymane. So anyway, that covers talents. Let's get into this. So yeah, as I said before, I want to see you being the one to be more on the camps and have somebody else deal with the soak. Obviously, somebody has to, so it's good that you are. But this sheer speed at which you take camps makes you more valuable to be the one that's on the camp. Anybody can soak a wave.
Sure.
So as a result of this, it's possible that you guys might miss a little bit of soak in the mid lane, just because it's not taken quite as fast as it could be. And nobody even rotates anyway. Okay, so yeah, you're going to end up missing full wave there. ATC was coming down, and then he goes to catch a soak. All right. I think that if he comes down, you get kills, but in this case, he gets neither a kill nor most of the soak anyway. But you guys have the camp pushing out. They don't, so I think it's good for you guys to push this out. Yeah, so Leo's dealing with the mid-soak. ETC doesn't really need to be here anymore. He should have rotated back down. I think you guys can get a kill right now.
Yeah, this is... We tried to, call that out in chat. It got a little pissy at one point, but...
Gotcha.
Not too bad. It turns into a clown fiesta at one point.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so yeah, level 4, you end up going for eyes. Yeah, okay. So this is a very squishy Anubrak. He's already at 50%. He doesn't have a shield. He does have burrow charge, but you have the power slide. I think at the very least you can chunk the crap out of him if ETC does go for the slide. But he does not appear to want to. Yeah, this guy's getting shredded. I do want to see you try and use your flask a little bit more. Okay, this is turning into a bit of a slugfest. Alright, so he uses burrow immediately. Everybody focuses on him. That's really good. I like to see that. Use the flask on this minion right here. You can get, while you were standing right here, you can get both of these targets. Greymane doesn't really have too much in the way of mana problems. Like every once in a while he can go but only if you're spamming all of your buttons and not getting any inner beast value. So definitely want to see the Gilnean cocktail anytime you can hit any hero with the backsplash. Don't use it generally speaking unless like you absolutely need like that tiny little bit of extra damage on the main target. So yeah, that one, you're basically using it for PvE damage on the wall, which is okay, but I'd like to see the flask for more. Nice, good job. You're going to end up taking the extra laser damage because you stayed for 1 extra second you didn't need to, and I believe you might have also had a Q that you could have used first. So when you're playing Greymane and you go into worgen form, if you need to disengage, generally you want to use your Q first. I just want to check it out, see how that happens. So you still have your Q, you use it there. 3, 2, 1. So I think that, yeah, you probably could have used your Q and then disengage to maybe break the chain first, but you could have also just started walking away sooner with the disengage. Yeah. Little detail, but you end up taking an extra maybe 10-15% of your health bar from the last tick.
Sure.
Which actually is important because it's the objective now, and you're going to have your tap up in 15. It makes a big difference, right? It's the difference between being topped and not. You're not channeling, yeah. So this is a mistake that people sometimes make. I mean, it's not going to end up mattering, but when the temple first starts spawning, you just got to make sure you start seeing the channel bar before you, because it looks it almost looked like you clicked on it, right? And I'm sure you did, but it doesn't start channeling because it hasn't enabled yet. So, flask. Yeah, that guy dies if you flask, 100%.
Yeah, flask gets that kill for sure.
So you're pretty low at this point. You kind of hesitate a little bit there. Okay, doesn't really make a difference. I don't think you could have gotten it. ETC is in a lot of trouble. This situation is not ideal.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you never tapped, right? The timer for the objective was at 10 seconds when this hearth was at, or when your healing was at 15. So 5 seconds after this spawns, you could have still tapped. I think that would have been worthwhile. Essentially, have your team stall, play slow until you can have your tap, essentially. Because having an extra 50% life right now could change this drastically.
Sure.
And yeah, that's going to be the cause of your death. And this Raevar is very He's going to end up going down as well. That's going to feed sadism to Alarak, which is unfortunate. He's going for the lightning build, though, so...
Yep.
I think also against their composition early game, they have I can't even remember this hero's name. I love this hero. What is it called? Asmo, right? Because they have Asmodan, their early game should be a little bit weaker overall. So I think this was a fight you guys should have won given normal circumstances, and I think one of those normal circumstances is you having full life, right?
Sure.
That combined with having used the flask to kill the Alarak.
So, okay, yeah. I'll be more mindful of the flask usage. I'm mostly just focused on like keeping the trade up.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Or keeping the W up.
I think can't sleep on the flask in general. It hits about the same amount of damage as an auto attack, and at least the backsplash of it. And so if you can hit that on multiple heroes, it's very impactful. So you get picked off here. I just want to take a quick peek and see how that happened. Probably just as a matter of being outnumbered, but I think probably get pulled. Yeah. So you have vision of 4. There's no reason to step up. I could understand it if you were Flask quest and you were trying to get a cheeky quest in there, but there's no reason to do this. They have a Stukov healer, so if you're just doing straight poke damage, you're just padding your stats right now, right?
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. All right. So at the moment that he misses his burrow, I'd like to see you use your disengage or dark flight onto the Inubrak and then cue this direction. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, so you tried to do it, but it was just a little bit too late. It was after you'd gotten impaled, and then you get pulled back. Yeah, all right. The main goal of doing the Dark Flight after he misses the burrow is to get him to miss his impale. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Is there an unstoppable frame there? Or
There's not. There's not. So that's why...
Do it from an angle?
What's that? I'm sorry?
So do you have to do it from an angle? Because it seems like if I do it straight on, I'm just going to get impaled.
It's a matter of doing it before he can impale. So if he's burrowing and he's missing, right? You see that he's missing, right? That's when you can do your EQ immediately before the impale goes off. It's tight to do that, honestly. So
okay, no, that's doable for sure.
You could have also gone for the Stukov as well. If you don't want to E onto the Anubrak, that's fine. It's just to make sure you dodge the impale. All right, so next objective is just 1. And you guys are doing this camp, but it's very unfortunate that it's ETC instead of like Phoenix doing this once again, because of the amount of time that it takes to do. As a result of that, Rhaegar ends up falling. It would be great if ETC was down here instead, right? He could peel for this. Yeah. And as you're quite correct, this lane is really not worth having 3 bodies in it, especially when 2 of them are the slowest camp takers. All right, so you do get that camp eventually. So you're going to lose the bottom lane. Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's on this map. Very, very, very impactful. I love how ETC's calling the correct thing to do when he's the one that was doing the wrong thing, but yeah. Okay. All right, so you come back down here.
Better late than never.
They don't have 10 yet, so I think this is still worth contesting. I don't think we give this up for free. You have to approach. Okay, they grabbed. Oof, that's rough.
Yeah, they give it to us for free though, I think.
Oh, the objective? I don't know about that.
No. The bot for it.
Oh, I see. You guys are gonna have to defend this because this is 3 shots. I don't see how you can possibly contest this anymore. Yeah.
No, I don't think we do.
No.
I think we get a free clear.
Okay, so you get the free clear on this, and then you take down the fort. Oh wow, that's a mistake on their part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They have 10 advantage right now, so they should be definitely picking on you guys. They should be flanking from the side and then getting all these kills. Okay, so Nubrak is here, but he used his burrow. Yeah, you hard engage on this, 100%. If your tank was of a mind, he's not of a mind. Okay. Getting that 37 hit combo, nice. Okay, so you have 3-2. I'm not sure why you need to have anybody besides Leo. Once again, he can double lane soak, so definitely don't need anybody else there. And that can just be a simple ping in the bottom, an assist me ping. Because I think that... so they grab this boss right now, which means that you guys can hard push the bottom lane. I think you could get the entirety of the wall for sure, and then maybe even start... If you had all 4 of you down here, I think you might even be able to get the fort. Right? If you guys are pushing the bottom lane, which is where you should be, then I think it's possible you get the fort before they even get back. I got it. Oh, buddy. Okay. Plat logic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're 100% on the money. I'm glad you're speaking the reason. All right, so you get that good amount of chunk damage on him, right, with the bullet, but not enough to finish him off.
Sure.
So it's unfortunate, but okay. The flask is really good. Your auto attacks, each of them is going into Alarak specifically. He does have counter strike, so you definitely don't want to hard engage on the Alarak until counter strike is down. Oh, you're getting some auto attacks on Dahaka and Anubrak here, 2 of them, so there it is. Okay, now the time is now, right? You got the Phoenix salvo on almost their entire, their whole team actually. So with that, he's going to drop down to 20%. So you literally just need to do 20% damage, and he's already used Counter-Strike. So I think this is a 100% you go for the Alarak right now. Anubrak doesn't have, or he's about to have Impale. But I still think, even if he double stuns you, I still think Alarak is going to die regardless.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I ended up making that play.
Definitely. Alarak should die there. Okay. Solo spawn. They have 1 dead. You guys could invade this if ETC was... Did he stage dive top?
Yeah, he did.
That happened. Okay. The objective spawning.
Well, I mean, honestly, you give him shit, but like everybody's done that at one point or another. He clicked the mini map, I'm sure.
Oh no, I think he intended to do it.
Really?
He went up here for soak. I'm pretty sure. Let's take a look. After the fight happens, he stage dives. Yeah, he 100% stage dives for soak.
Oh, I thought it was.
That's not a misclick. I mean, that's just not knowing how to use your global. But in any case, for those who don't know, using your global right as an objective is about to spawn on the opposite side of the map. You should only ever consider doing this if they have more than 1 person dead. If they have like 3-4 people dead, then you could consider using your global to catch soak, especially if you're about to get to an important talent tier. In this case, not the case. You're both on about the same XP. There's no immediate need to grab that little bit of experience. And more importantly, the objective is on the bottom side of the map, and you guys are going to still need to be here to contest this. So, not correct. Yeah, and you guys should have been able to grab this camp for certain since Dahaka was dead. As it is right now, it's pretty iffy. And a lot of that has to do with the fact you don't have an ETC to zone and know what's going on. But yeah, it feels like right here, you and Raevar are playing very scared, even though they're the ones that have a dead person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're going to end up not being able to get this. They're going to steal it away. That's super unfortunate. Okay. So your team did a camp for them. It's unfortunate. You're getting a lot of chunk damage on that guy. There's the counter-strike. It's not even procced, and he goes down. Really good. Let me switch back to control. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Good flask. All right, not too bad. Good dodge.
I feel like a lot of times when I flask, it goes just like, you know, one peg short. I don't know.
I'd highly recommend, if you are not already, I highly recommend using on release for flask, because having the visual and knowing where exactly the tip of it is makes a big difference. They nerfed it a while ago to make it slightly shorter than it used to be. So
maybe that's it.
That's definitely it. For a long time, I struggled with that, where I was like, oh, I think that's long enough, and then it's not.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Definitely on release.
I stopped playing them when they nerfed the Q build.
Right. Yeah.
Just picking up again now.
Got it. I do think, so far from what I'm noticing, I think you can stutter step a little bit better. And what I mean by that is that I think you can move more in between auto attacks. I think that right now you're firing on cooldown, which is the most important part. But the next important part is to make as much movement in between those autos as you can. So I think you're attacking, move, stop, attacking, move, stop, attacking, when you could be attack, move, stop, or, you know, etc.
Yeah.
So we can keep an eye on that as well. Ooh, okay. Down goes the Leo in the top lane. Okay. Curse bullet on the Alarak. He's immediately topped off though. So that is one thing that I think is something to consider, is that since they have the Stukov healer, right? He uses bio kill switch.
Yeah.
Poke damage before a fight is really going to happen for sure. Not really that impactful, because this doesn't cost any mana, right? It's just a cooldown. It's a short cooldown too, shorter than yours. So using Curse Bullet purely for poke damage only makes sense when you're up against a healer that doesn't have that sort of sustained healing. So for example, if you're up against an Uther healer, or even an Oriole or a Tyrande even, where she doesn't have like a constant source of auto attacks to reset her cooldown. In those situations, I can understand using Curse Bullet just for poke, but against any sustained healer, I would reserve Cursed Bullet for when a fight is shortly about to break out. Good Ancestral. Is it enough? Oh, not quite. Yeah, so the Cocoon is on the Rhaegar is pretty good. Unfortunately, I mean, it wasn't great because he was still able to get the Ancestral off first, but what would be really nice is if you had a stage dive during that whole showdown, because then instead of walking down, ETC could have gotten here in time to maybe turn that fight, because you were quite healthy. Cocoon was... after that, he's coming out, he's healthy. But, oh well. Alright, so objectives are on the top side. Most of their team is down here, though, so I think you do need to still stay down here. For purely wave clear, you want to be using Dark Flight a little bit more. Being in Worgen form allows you to wave clear faster. Combination of you having more auto attack and being able to use your Q for swiping the wave. So definitely speed is of the essence right now, because they're heading up to the top wave, or top lane, to get these objectives. Potentially, if they can stall, this could get ugly.
Right now, I think I'm just trying to dismount the... Yeah.
Okay, I see. But that's leaving... Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Your ETC has stage dive. That's not a problem.
Yeah. But I see what you're saying.
And they do stall. Alright, so yeah. This is where the time is now. Alright, cool. Stage dive is good. Does he have counter strike? He does. Alright, so you go in between the two, kind of hoping it'll hit one of them. Doesn't hit either, unfortunate. Stutter stepping, still possible here. You could have dodged the globe here, just a little bit of chunk. Still able to stutter step here. There's a silence ring right here. I still think you could step out of the silence ring and still get auto attacks off. So you're just taking a little bit of unnecessary damage so far. Do you have a tap available? No, you don't. Okay. Do we have Ancestral? No. Yeah, so I do think that stutter stepping better in team fights is going to help you a lot to reduce the amount of damage you're taking with Greymane, which is very important, because if you have higher health bar when this happens, even if you get crowd controlled by both of these abilities, I think you might live, and that makes all the difference. Team does good. Alright. And you as 19 health to 28. So you guys are definitely behind, but you're up on experience. You get the first 16. I want to see you beeline for this camp. definitely don't want to stay in human form for this. You want to be ripping it as fast as you possibly can with Dark Flight. And I want to see you dodge all the damage. There's no reason to take damage against this camp. You have 16 talent tier advantage, so ideally you guys would invade this, but instead your team is mostly top. They take the top camp, which is okay. I don't like seeing 3 people up here, especially not Raevar. So they grab their camp. It's not ideal. They get the free clear on this, but they're showing 3 people up here, so a fast rotation to bot lane to clear this, get a tower, and maybe get a little bit of push, maybe a pick. Okay, so the pick potential on Stukov here, you're not quite in position to follow up on it, unfortunately. I still think he could. Oh, you got to be watching this though. Yeah, if you're stepping up, cutting off as a retreat, I think that's possibly a kill. Especially if you have the other ultimate. If you have go for the throat, that guy's 100% dead. Okay, we get the kill here. Objective is still down here. Okay. Okay. Most of your team goes topside here. Okay.
Yeah, that was
bottom.
Poor mini-map awareness on my part.
I still think you guys win this. You guys have to focus all of your damage on Stukov immediately. Okay. Oh, alright. Trade. And they have the Dahaka, bro. Yeah. So you guys are going to definitely get this one for sure. And it looks like you guys are going to get this one as well. So you're trading 2 for 1 is not the worst, but the bigger issue is just that more people should be on the bottom. I'd rather you guys get this one and this one, because then after you get this one, you're going to on the bottom side of the map, so you can do some damage.
Right, and I sort of assumed that that's what the game plan was. But
yeah,
again,
absolutely. I think Stage Dive was used on the top side to stall this, but Rhaegar should have stayed bottom, and Leo should have capped this, and then, yeah. Yeah, if Rhaegar's down here, you don't die, and you guys probably kill somebody here. I don't think he can stall without dying. Yeah. Okay. Trade kill here. Good kill. Dodge. Good. Wait, is that a Phoenix? No, mobile offense. Okay. It looked like he was switching to his arsenal, but it wasn't empowered. I was like, Alright. So, boss is up, but I don't think it's doable right now. Camp is up in 12, so you're positioning for that. It's good. Once again, you want to rip it as fast as possible, so when you're doing this, yeah, you're starting with you're starting with a flask, a ranged auto, and then immediate dark flight into Q. That's the combo. So you skip the flask portion, and you skip the ranged auto attack, I think.
It's flask, then ranged auto?
So flask and ranged auto can be done simultaneously.
Okay.
And the reason to do that is that the dark flight is essentially resetting your auto attack. So there's no reason not to use a ranged auto attack, generally speaking, unless something's going to get out of range by the time of your dark flight if you use an auto attack. Meanwhile, Leoric dies topside. It's unfortunate. You guys correctly go for this. I think that, yeah, your team sort of commits to going for this this target right here. I'm not opposed to that, honestly. I think that if you had used your cursed bullet, this guy might have died. Take a look. Just because they showed that they had 3 people up here, and then Dahaka, you hear him burrowing. So that's all that could possibly be up here. So you guys are looking for the invade, but this guy's out of position. If you can get a slow on him, which I believe you can because he's not mounted and Rhaegar is, then this guy should die. So I think you have enough. Yeah, it's in range to land a cursed bullet, and you waste time throwing a flask this direction, I guess, because you're trying to land it on the mercenaries.
No, that time I thought someone.
Oh, for Dahaka? I see. Got it. Got it. All right. Okay, I definitely want to get out of here now. I don't know about taking this fight. Okay. Alright, Leo's coming up very shortly. Counter-Strike is down, Cocoon is down. The moment that he's up... You guys have... Yeah, Entomb. Entomb is available, so I think if he entombs Alarak without Counter-Strike, he could die. Ooh, good dodge. But he's still dead. Alright, so I think that a lot of your auto attacks right now are kind of just sort of hitting whatever's available as opposed to what might be valuable to try and get a kill.
So that's just a positioning issue then?
I think so. We can go back and take a quick peek and see if what you could have been doing during that. Alright, so right now you're focusing on the Nubrak, which is good. Then you focus on bringing this down, which is good. And then you're walking down to this side. I'd prefer to have you on the upper side here, just so that you have more room to dodge. There's not a lot of room down here. And it's also more close to the Dahaka. So you don't want to be close to the Dahaka, generally speaking. You want to be on the opposite side if possible. Okay. So yeah, auto attacks on Dahaka right here don't really do much. This is the priority right now. Either the Alarak or the Nubrak. Because of the fact that you have the silence on the ground right here, it's unlikely that this guy goes down. And also, ETC goes off the channel. So I do think that the Nubrak for you right now is the target. So yeah, you got one auto attack on the Nubrak, and then the other buttons I think are hitting like beetles and stuff. So I think you're probably using a move right now. I'm assuming you're not right clicking, right?
Yeah, typically.
Okay, so when you use your A move or attack move, it's going to prioritize, unless you have it switched in your settings, it's going to prioritize whatever's nearest to you. And that can be beetles or minions as opposed to heroes. So the two ways around that are either A, to right-click on the hero itself that you want to be auto-attacking, which is harder to do micro-wise because then you're clicking here and then clicking here, clicking here and then clicking here. You're moving as well as attacking, which requires 2 move commands or mouse click commands in a short period of time on repeat. The alternative to that is to switch on the setting for attack move to be based on where your mouse is as opposed to the nearest target. So that means you could press A when your mouse is over here, and it'll generally attack the hero, right?
Oh.
So that's possible as well. It's important though when you're playing an auto attack hero, you want to make sure your auto attacks are going to the right place.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
So you get a little bit lucky that you get snagged on this wall here. If you fall back into the fort, it could be quite bad. So you do have Phoenix down, so it's a 4 versus 5. I don't think that you have to contest this, but there's no reason not to be doing damage as long as they're trying to capture the objective. Then it's a 4 versus 4. So yeah, I think you can be very safely auto-attacking their front line. Okay, and there's the thing. As soon as you see an Anubrak burrow, you all in on him. So you definitely want to get your inner beast up. You don't have to use your Dark Flight just yet. Because stuns haven't come out, but as soon as stuns come out, that's your cue to go for Dark Flight. Okay, you're getting good ranged auto attacks, but you back up there. I think, yeah, you want to commit to this. He has no escape for the next 6 seconds. Yeah, it's unfortunate you don't have your cursed bullet, but you could be doing quite a lot of chunk damage to this guy. Okay, stage dive to stall. There's another missed auto attack on a minion or something. Okay. All right, and so yeah, by the time that he's pressured enough, his cooldown's back. I think that you could have gotten probably at least 3 or 4 more auto attacks, specifically on a new Breck, which would have put him out of time for his escape. So that's possible you could have gotten a kill. Okay, Cursed Bullet on the Alarak. Gotta be... Okay, he already used Drag. I didn't see it. I'm sure you did, which is why you're playing aggressively. Dodge. Good. Flask is good. You could probably dodge that one. Definitely want to keep up your inner beast right now. Because you have the movement speed, right? So just 1 extra auto attack, even if you're using it to run away, is worth it. Because you get that mount speed to run away.
Sure.
But you get out anyway. It's fine. Okay, so once again, I think that this fight was not necessary to take in the first place because you had no Phoenix for the start of it. But as it turns out, it's no good. The question is there anything that you can be doing at this point? I don't think it's worth trying to defend this because they have a new Barak. So you could just get picked off easily. You get cocooned, whatever. So you go mid. That's good. I'd like to see you probably try and take this camp up here. Try and get maybe the top fort with it. Maybe get a pick on this guy. Yeah, good. Yeah, this guy should die, honestly. He has everything available to him, but man, if you had the other ultimate. Okay, he's dead anyway. He fucked up there because he used drag instead of trying to use his essence, burrow, and walk away. It's possible he lives. So you go for the defensive mid instead of trying to race this. I think you guys could have raced this instead. Maybe not. You guys do get 20 now. So unfortunately, this guy's alone, though. You know that they're coming up here, and you actually... You have stage dive coming up in 16 seconds, essentially. But no Rhaegar. Yeah, it's not ideal. I'm curious whether or not you guys could have raced the camp before they arrived. So right now, if you guys go for this camp... I just want to see how much time you actually have. I think it's possible. If you're doing damage to this camp, I think it dies by the time Stukov arrives, because you do more damage than Phoenix actually does.
Right.
It's possible, but slightly risky, of course. Phoenix ends up staying a little bit too long. He's going to die for it. But once again, I think that he dies partially because you didn't stay to help.
Sure.
Look at that wave clear. Alright, good race here. They're going for the boss. They have 1 dead. That's kind of unfortunate. I mean, it's great to be taking this back. You guys are relatively low on shots, and a 4 versus 4 on the boss isn't terrible. But you're just not in position for it. You're too far away. So this is the best thing you can be doing right now. I think you need to be pinging for your team to be backing away from this, to give it. Rhaegar's pinging retreat. ETC does not get the memo. This guy's probably dead.
Yeah, but even if... I mean, all things equal,
Mm-hmm.
I think we give the boss...
Yeah, I agree.
The bot for it, right?
Yes, because you're down here. If you're not down here, I think you fight this. The main reason being that you have 20 on 20, it's 4 versus 4, and it's just straight up giving up 4 shots that you might not be able to afford, right? You have 11 total health. If you give up 4, the next time there's an objective, you can only give up a single one. So it's...
Sure.
I do think that if you're up here, it's worth taking the fight, but since you're already down here, it's not. You have to give it. Immediately rip this camp. So actually, when you have the level 20 talent, you can stay in human form to get triple, as long as you're hitting all 3. So you have to be standing either here or here. In this case, you want to be standing here for the position, just so that make sure you don't die or anything. But you have vision of them all up here. But yeah, it's a little bit faster to be using your attacks. So yeah, the ETC with the spam pings. And I think that you could have communicated better that you were you pinged that you were trying to take the keep, but I still think you should have done retreat pings before this all broke out, because basically saying I can't be there, right? That's really what it comes down to.
And this is where it sort of turns into a clown fiesta.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure how the game goes this long, honestly. This is pretty incredible to me. They should just outright win the game right now because you have 4 people dead. Yeah, I have no idea how the hell you guys come back from this. Good dodge.
I think I make a shitty play here and die again. You'll see.
Again, quite chunked out. Yeah, you're dead. Okay, Leo comes back in time to stall. What was that? Oh, he's using a Stukov. Okay. Gets the Stukov kill. Yeah, I just don't get how you guys possibly don't lose right now. It's incredible.
It really was.
Stage dive? Oh my god. Okay. And then somehow he wins a 2 versus 1? 3 versus 1? This is amazing.
Yeah, no, he made a really good dodge there to not die.
Good power slide. Good ancestral. Good shield. Wow. Gets him out. Instant knockback. Gotta be dodging for the thing. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt a lot. Okay. This is a fight for the ages.
Yeah, right?
Oh, you can still see. Things that are in melee range are still visible to this guy. Okay, he still gets the kill. What a comeback. Alright, so you go for the cap. That's good. You want to grab this back as well. Cool. Just a minor issue that you were just a little bit too close to the fort, so it aggroed to you instead of to ETC. You can step a tiny bit away and still auto attack it. There's like you don't have to be in exact melee range, if that makes sense.
It hits the closest person.
Yeah. So when the last minion dies in its radius, it'll automatically target whichever hero is the closest physically to it. So the moment that happens, you can take a little step away. ETC gets the aggro, and then you can keep on going.
Yeah. No, I had no idea.
All right, they have 2 down. You have 1 down. So this is advantage for you. This is an advantage fight for you guys, honestly. I think that if you guys, he's got stage dive. Rip it. Okay, that whiffs, unfortunately. Yeah, okay, you don't have Inner Beast up just yet, but boy, that would have been a fantastic time to stage dive and turn that. Jump on this. Don't auto attack. So that's one of those situations where the auto attack puts you out of range for the dark flight. You see?
Yeah.
You could have absolutely dark flighted on it. I just want to show you. Okay, so this is the range of dark flight, right? Oh, okay, so when you stop to auto attack, instead of stopping to auto attack, I think that you could have closed the gap. I might be wrong, but pretty sure that you had the range. Okay, camp is available. Yeah, if we use stage dive there, he's dead. Stukov for sure, and maybe the Haka too. No, nobody likes Globe. Definitely want to make sure you're min-maxing. So in this situation, you need to be landing the flask on the forwardmost guy to splash this direction, right? So you want to be standing here, flask here, auto attacks from this angle so that it's spreading to all the wave. Right now, you did a flask on the middle minion, which does nothing, and then you eat in to hit the middle minion, which kills the middle minion, and that's it. So definitely time is of the essence, as well as you don't want to take extra damage. Try to min-max wherever you can with this hero.
Sure.
Okay, that's a free kill. Sure. You do still have your Inner Beast. I think you guys Yeah, you go for this camp. If anybody comes, you force it. You have Entomb. This guy's dead on my screen. You got to be there, though. You got to go. Time is up. Wow, he didn't use the Entomb there? Okay. I'm not sure why. Just rip the Entomb. Anything. Everything. Alright, he uses it. This dude's trapped in the corner. He uses his counter-strike. Oh, beautiful. Holy crap. Love it. Alright. And now you push this down. Get it down. Your auto attacks on this beetle will hit this fort. There you go. This gotta die right away. Okay, you guys go for the kill. Good. Yeah, they're throwing right now. It's just chain deaths. Okay. So, in this position, they have 3 people dead. You don't have to commit 5 people to do this. You can maybe have, you know, 1 person channel, 1 person zone, just in case they come with the Haka. The rest of your team should be trying to start push down middle at this point, because you have only 2 shots left on your core. This is already just capped. You have shots walking in. You can either, yeah, you can definitely escort these in as well, but start getting more structures in. And as long as you're not giving up the bottom fort, that's what's really important. So you can, after these guys cap, they can go and defend this. I don't think they can get it back. Can definitely get another fort with 3 people dead. Boss is up in a minute, so it's not an option. It's important for you to be doing. So this is one of those situations where you need to be contributing to your team as best as you can as a Greymane, and that means PvE damage. Don't want to waste time right now. It is very important. Okay. Yeah, so it's not your job to clear down here. It's your job to push here, 100%. You, ETC, Leo can 100% get this. Honestly, Phoenix alone should be able to deal with this bottom. Raevar could come help you, make sure you get it this guaranteed. Yeah, you don't need 3 people to clear a minion wave. There's 2 people here. Honestly, these guys should die for standing out here. Unfortunately, you don't have the silence Entomb, which would guarantee either one of these kills for sure. But even without the silence Entomb, I still think you can kill the Dahaka. 100% can kill the Dahaka. But nobody's really in position for it, so. Alright, so now you start pushing. But at this point, they start having people up, right? 3 people were dead for like 40 seconds when I said to push the middle. And now 4 people up. Definitely riskier now. They still have 1 dead for a short amount of time. Alright, here's the Entomb. You're getting a lot of value from your chunk, from your auto attack spread. That's good. There's the Cocoon. Okay, the drag is perfectly timed. Good jump out, really nice. Ancestral is okay. Dodge, good. This fight is just very wonky. We don't really want to fight right here. So ideally we want to try and disengage. Okay, big stage dive potential. It's decent. You're getting a lot of chunk damage. Phoenix gets the kill on a Nubrak. I like it. Okay, so the boss is available. They have 5 health, so it's not enough to end the game, which is very important. But it's enough for you guys to not lose the game. And more importantly, if they come to try and defend it 4 versus 5, this is an opportunity for you to continue to snowball. If you ignore the boss and kill the heroes and get maybe more than 1 kill, suddenly the boss is free anyway, and you can continue and maybe go for a 6 cap. What do? You guys go for the boss. Okay. That means they get back bottom for free, so it's a little bit unfortunate, but I think it's worth doing. It means that whoever gets to this wins the game.
I mean, you got to take the boss off the map if they're...
Yeah, understandable, totally. Okay. Oh, can you guys 100% get this? Right? He's gonna last rights? No, not last rights. What am I talking about? I meant last laugh. That's what I'm talking about. He didn't use it though, so. Okay, so that should be the game right there. They just threw over and over again towards the end.
Yep.
What a comeback. 2 people dead. Should be guaranteed.
Even this fight's wonky, you know?
Well, that's a really nice silence here. You get kind of zoned out of there. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but yeah, it works. It works. Get 2 more kills. Stage dive for fashion, I guess.
Yeah.
And nice stall. And oh, he's a new Brax back in time. You went off to fend this guy off. Still enough to kill that guy. Does this guy have one more stall? Yep.
Yep.
And that's
I'm
it.
just pushing the wave until you get to him, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so really nice comeback. I think that this game was definitely harder than it needed to be, primarily because of ETC's not understanding of the macro game and not understanding where he should be and how to get the most value out of a stage dive. But as far as your role is concerned, the things that you can be doing better, be taking the camps more frequently and making sure it's not your allies that are the ones doing it and you being the one that's soaking. Greymane doesn't need to be soaking. He wants to be providing as much value as possible with his high PvE damage. So taking these camps faster, definitely important. Doing structure damage when you have the opportunity to do it. And in this case, when you had 3 or 4 different people on their team dead for 40 plus seconds, that's the time where you have to be providing that value as Greymane, doing a lot of siege damage. This structure should have gone down for free before this whole fight broke down in the middle. And you should have still been able to control the bottom here, which makes this next spawn here almost guaranteed free. You understand what I mean? Because it's so hard for them to contest it. They have to approach it either from this little narrow choke point, or they have to try and approach it by entering through the tunnel. In either case, they have no escape. They can't go this way, they can't go this way, they can't go this way, they can't go this way. They're just screwed. So definitely having map control is really important. Taking the boss here, it was good, but it wasn't outstanding, honestly. They had 4 people up when you went for it, and it was all just because you got that one pick on the Anubrak. They kind of threw by having Alarak come and try and take a look and see what was going on up here. In the best case scenario, I think what your team does is you sit ETC up here by the boss to make sure that they're not going to try and sneak it, while your team guarantees the objective, defends the bottom. Because if you don't lose bottom, this objective is way easier to take. And you would have had potentially up to 6 structures. Let's say, because the way it turned out, you guys didn't get this fort. This fort, however, was still in your control, and you have 5, and they had 5 core health. So that ends the game. You understand?
Right.
So this one, as long as you don't lose this, ends the game without needing to do the boss. They could have tried to end the game by doing the boss, but you have a stage dive ETC that's chilling in the bush here. So you can judge whether or not you have enough time to either cap it first or try and come and contest this and take a team fight or whatever. But they would have only had 4 people, remember? They had a new Brack down. So this would have been, I think, the best play to make instead of taking this as well as losing the bottom fort and then taking a fight here. But it doesn't really matter because Alarak threw. As far as your personal playstyle is concerned, the most important things to improve on are, number 1, first and foremost, flask usage. I want to see more flasks for the purpose of hitting heroes, getting more damage from that. 2, I want to see better stutter stepping. Just practice that more. Get as much movement in between each auto attack as you can, and dodge skill shots whenever possible. In team fights especially, I feel like your stutter stepping gets worse during the team fight, and that's mainly just because of how much stuff's going on. I understand that, but try and keep it in mind. The more you move in a team fight, the harder it is for your enemies to hit you with damage. The less damage you take, the more damage you can do, because you can stay in the fight longer. Really important. And I think Cursed Bullet here, I don't think it really got the value that you were hoping for, personally. Like, you landed quite a few of them, but it almost never led to that target dying. Does that make sense?
Yes.
There were a lot of targets that got away with low health that I don't think would have if you had go for the throat. And I think that in general, I think most people are using Cursed Bullet a little bit more than they should in terms of when to pick it. It's definitely a viable talent, especially now that it's buffed. It goes really well with single target blow up compositions where you have a strong amount of CC and followed up by single target burst. So like a Leeming and a Greymane together, really good to pair that together with the Cursed Bullet.
Sure.
But this didn't feel like a burst comp, right? This is not a burst
Right.
comp. This is a sustained damage comp. So you have all the damage that you need to get things low. What you needed is a finisher, and in this case
Right.
was go for the throat. Would have been really fantastic. Um, Other than that, so yeah, you never did really come up to this top camp. There was that one opportunity when you guys got the kill on the Dahaka right here, and then Phoenix went to do the camp and you didn't join him, and that led to Phoenix dying. I do think you stayed up here and helped race that camp before anybody else came. At first, it was only Stukov, and then there was like 2 or 3 other people. So I think you guys could have raced this and then immediately left and got out. Other than that, I think that you played quite well as far as what you put into the chat and whatnot. Everything you said was correct. However, obviously, how you communicate with allies can be people can be take things poorly and whatnot. So try and be as polite as you can, I guess you can say.
Sure.
And then the one thing that I think you should be doing a little bit better is pinging, right? So on this camp or this boss right here, this boss play, that was a four versus potentially 4, but you were in the bottom lane doing the keep. You pinged that you were taking the keep, but you didn't ping retreat up here. And I think if it's me, I think it's more important to ping retreat than to ping the keep, because they can physically see the retreat ping. I would do 3 of them. I do 1, 2, 3. Make sure that it's very well seen, that Greymane thinks not to engage. And hopefully that prevents ETC from stage diving in. But yeah, because it also, when that happened, your team went into a 3 versus 4, then ended up losing it, and then they spam pinged you and got sort of tilted, right? And it's
Right.
not because you did anything particularly wrong. You were already positioned on the bottom side of the map. They shouldn't have gone for the boss. That was not the right call for their team because it was a 4 versus 4. It was risky. But they did it anyway, and because you were not there in time to contest, the next best thing to do is to take back your bottom keep, which is really, really good. So just make sure you're communicating that with your team, and you don't have to type anything. You just need a ping. So yeah, I think that just about covers it. I think talent-wise, I agree with just about everything. I probably would have personally gone for the block charges, and I would have gone for go for the throat.
And when
And
would you take? Remind me again. When would you take block versus the
I would take
stealth?
block in any game that I can get value from it. So the only time I don't pick it is up against like Tychus, Tracer,
Right.
Tassadar, and Lucio, any of the auto attackers that are going to completely negate the block stacks. Against this, that's not really a threat. There's nothing that has super fast auto attacks, and there are 3 people that do have decently strong auto attacks. In Stukov's case, actually the strongest. So you could prevent a lot of that damage just with the 2 block charges you get from jumping in. And especially if you're going to go for the throat, that's important because it gives you that extra bit of survivability to go in
Sure.
deeper. So yeah, I think that just about covers it. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Absolutely. Well, thanks for sending the replay. Um,
Yep.
Definitely want to see more of Greymane in the current meta. I think that with the movement speed changes, he's really powerful, and especially he also got his auto attacks buffed, so that's definitely another thing. So yeah, love to see more of the Greymane.
For sure.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Have a good one.